The title of this book is Young Cam Jansen and the Dinosaur Game. It's written by David Adler and illustrated by Susanna Natty. Young Cam Jansen and the Dinosaur Game. Here's our table of contents, and we see that we have 5 chapters and what page each of those chapters starts on. Chapter 1, I'm going. Honk, honk, I'm going, Mr. Jansen said. He was driving his daughter Cam and her friend Eric Shelton to a birthday party. Mr. Jansen stopped at the corner. He looked at the street signs. Then he said, I'm sorry, I forgot where the party is, and I forgot to bring the invitation. Honk, honk, I'm going, Mr. Jansen said as he drove on, but I don't know where I'm going. Mr. Jansen drove to the next corner and parked the car. Eric said, I'm sure Cam remembers where the party is. Cam closed her eyes and said, click. Cam always closes her eyes and says, click, when she wants to remember something. Cam has an amazing memory. My memory is like a camera, she says. I have a picture in my head of everything I've seen. Click is the sound my camera makes. Cam's real name is Jennifer, but because of her great memory, people started to call her the camera. Then the camera became just Cam. I'm looking at the invitation, Cam said with her eyes closed. It says, come to a party for Jane Bell, 3:00 p.m., 86 Robin Lane. Cam opened her eyes. Mr. Jansen drove to 86 Robin Lane. There were balloons and a big happy birthday sign on the front door. Mr. Bell opened the door and said, come in, come in. He pointed to a big jar. Before you join the others, guess how many dinosaurs are in this jar. Remember your guess. The best one wins the dinosaurs. The jar was filled with blue, green, yellow, and red toy dinosaurs. Next to the jar were slips of paper, a few pens, and a shoebox. Cam tried to count the dinosaurs, but she couldn't. Lots of dinosaurs were hidden behind other dinosaurs. Cam wrote her guess on a slip of paper. She put the paper in the shoebox. Eric looked at the jar. He looked for a long time. Then he wrote his guess on a slip of paper too. He put the paper in the shoebox. Eric said, I hope I win. Then Cam and Eric went to the kitchen. Their friends were there, sitting around the table. Chapter 2, The Dinosaur Game. Mrs. Bell said, good, everyone is here. I'll get the birthday cake. She carried a large cake to the table. The cake was covered with chocolate icing. Mrs. Bell lit the candles. Everyone sang happy birthday. Then Mrs. Bell gave each child a piece of birthday cake. They were all eating cake when Mr. Bell walked into the room. I counted the dinosaurs, he said. There were 154 in the jar. Mr. Bell took a large piece of birthday cake. Eric said, I guessed 150. Maybe I'll win. Rachel said, I guessed 300. Who won? Jane asked. Who won the dinosaur game? Mr. Bell smiled. We'll see, he said, as soon as I finish eating. Some children took a second piece of cake. Some went into the den to play. When Mr. Bell finished, he brought in the shoebox. He turned it over and picked up a slip of paper. 180, he read. Then he showed it to everyone. That was my guess, Jane said. One by one, Mr. Bell read the guesses. 100, 300, 1,000, 450, 200. Cam said, 200 was my guess. Mr. Bell looked at the next slip of paper. He read 150. That was my guess, Eric said. Then Mr. Bell held up the last slip of paper and read 154. That's mine, Robert said. I win. You do win, Mr. Bell said. You guessed the exact number, and here's your prize. He gave Robert the jar of dinosaurs. Cam looked at Robert, then she looked at the slip of paper in Mr. Bell's hand and said, click. Eric whispered to Cam, That's amazing. He guessed the exact number of dinosaurs. Yes, Cam said, it is amazing. It's almost too amazing. Chapter 3, Click. Robert spilled the dinosaurs onto the table. They're cute, Rachel said. Can I have one? Jason asked. Rachel asked, Can I have one too? I'm not giving them away, Robert said. I'm selling them. I want a red one, Rachel said. I'll give you the money at school tomorrow. I want 3 green dinosaurs and 2 yellows, Jason said. Mrs. Bell said, Let's play another guessing game. She held up a small box. I have something in here. It has a face and it runs. What is it? Does it run fast? Rachel asked. Mrs. Bell said, I hope not. Eric asked, Does it have 8 legs? Is it a spider? Mrs. Bell said, It doesn't have any legs. Cam asked, Does it have hands? Is it a watch? Cam was right. Mr. Bell said, Now let's play musical chairs. He set 6 chairs in a line. He turned on some music. Then Mr. Bell told the children, Walk around the chairs. When the music stops, sit down. Whoever can't find a seat is out of the game. The children walked around the chairs, but not Cam. She looked at the chairs. She counted them. Then she closed her eyes and said, Click. Chapter 4, You Made Me Lose. The music stopped. Everyone but Cam sat down. She was out of the game. Mr. Bell took 1 chair away and turned on the music again. Cam opened her eyes. She went over to the table. She looked at the slips of paper. Then, as Eric walked past, she whispered to him, I have something to show you. Eric turned and the music stopped. Everyone but Eric sat down. He was out of the game. Mr. Bell took 1 chair away and turned on the music again. When Robert walked past, Cam whispered to him, And I have something to show you. Robert turned and the music stopped. Everyone but Robert sat down. Robert was out of the game. He told Cam, You made me lose at musical chairs. Cam said, And I'll make you lose the dinosaurs, too. Chapter 5, I'm sharing. Cam said to Robert, You wrote 154 after Jane's father counted the dinosaurs. I did not, Robert said. Cam told him, Mr. Bell turned over the shoebox. The papers fell out upside down. They fell out in the same order they were put in. Jane's guest was first. Eric and I were the last to come to the party. Our guesses should have been last, but yours was. Robert said, Maybe the papers got mixed up. Cam told him, There were 8 guesses, but only 7 kids are at the party. You guessed twice. You guessed when you came to the party. You guessed again after Jane's father told us there were 154 dinosaurs in the jar. I did not, Robert said. Cam picked up Robert's winning guess. And look at this, she said. Cam pointed to a chocolate smudge. You wrote this after we had birthday cake. That's why there's chocolate on it. Cam and Eric looked at Robert's hands. There was chocolate on them, too. Robert looked down. You're right, he said softly. My real guess was 1,000 dinosaurs. Robert put the dinosaurs back in the jar. After the game of musical chairs ended, Robert talked to Mrs. Bell. He told her that Eric had really won the dinosaur game. Mrs. Bell gave the jar to Eric. Rachel said, I want to buy a red dinosaur. Jason said, I want 3 green dinosaurs and 2 yellow. Eric told them, I'm not selling the dinosaurs, I'm sharing them. The children sat in a circle. Eric walked around them. One for you, he said, as he gave each child a dinosaur, and one for you, and one for you. After Eric had given everyone else a dinosaur, he put one on an empty chair and said, and one for me. Eric walked around the circle again and again. He walked around until the big jar of toy dinosaurs was empty. So that was Young Cam Jansen and the Dinosaur Game. There are other books in this series if you enjoyed it.